Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. My name is Zoe if you're new here, and today's video is going to be a brow tutorial. I've gotten so many questions about how I do my brows. Can I please upload a brow tutorial? And I actually have two previous videos about my brows on my channel, but my brows, they change so much all the time. So I thought today I would show you guys how I am currently doing my brows. If you're new here, please subscribe before you leave. Join our little family. Also, please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and leave me a comment down below on what you guys want to see next. And also make sure you turn on my post notifications. If you don't know what that is, it's that little bell down in the description right next to the subscribe button. Click that little buddy, turn it on, and you will get notified every time I post a new video. And yeah, I don't think I have anything else to mention right now. So if you are ready to see how I do my brows, then just keep watching. So these are my brows completely naked. I am going to show you how I groom them and how I do them when I'm gonna do my makeup. So there's gonna be a few things that you need, but I'll talk about those things as I go. Okay, so I'm just gonna pluck a few hairs if I see any. Okay, and the next tool I use is this little guy, this little razor. This is what I use to upkeep the top of my brows because I don't like plucking them. But what I'm gonna do is I'm basically just gonna line up my brow. Now, if this step is hard for you, what I suggest doing is outlining your brow and then going in with the razor, so that way you have kind of an outline of what you don't want to pass. That way you don't accidentally shave off your eyebrow, because that would be bad. Okay, and then I also like to shape up my tail with this instead of plucking it. Okay, and then I'm just going to kind of shape up this area right here. Make sure there's no hairs. So now I'm just going to spoolie them again and kind of brush them down to see what needs to be trimmed. And obviously I have a lot of hair that needs to be trimmed. If you can see all these little hairs hanging down here, that is what I'm going to trim. So you just need a little tiny scissors for this step. So I'm just going to brush the hair downward, and then I'm going to take my scissors and just trim the hair. Now be careful with this step because you don't want to trim them too much if you have sparse brows, because it'll make them look even more sparse. So just be mindful of what you're trimming. So now we're going to actually get started on the part of me filling them in and how I fill them in. So I get a lot of questions on what product I use in my brows, and I actually use the NYX Micro Brow Pencil, and I use the shade Espresso. It looks like this. It's kind of a dupe for the Anastasia Brow Wiz. I really like it, and it's like half the price of a Brow Wiz. The first thing I do is brush them out, make sure they're in the direction I want them to be in. And I'm going to start at the front of the brow and just kind of draw a light line underneath my brows. So nothing super dark, nothing super harsh. And I'm going to do the same on the top of my brow. I'm going to just outline the top of my brow. I'm going to spoolie this out just a little bit, make sure those lines aren't too harsh. Just a tiny bit, not using a lot of pressure at all. And you can already see the difference between this brow and this brow. This one just already looks so much fuller. But now I'm gonna go ahead and color it in. So the only thing I'm gonna do is basically make little tiny strokes, but I'm just gonna color the entire brow in. So this part of my brow right here is a lot more full, and this part is a lot more empty. So I'm gonna apply a lot more color right here versus right here. The goal is to kind of even out your entire brow. You don't want one part to look darker and one part to look more sparse. So I'm going to focus a lot of my color over here in the tail and less color up here in the front, but I'm literally just going to color it in and just don't go out the lines basically. So with really light pressure and strokes. So I'm just going to start coloring it. Easy. So you can see that the tail is a lot more colored in, but I'm not going to focus a lot of color up here, just a tiny bit. Alright, and so that is basically what it looks like. I'm going to spoolie it out now just so it blends everything in nicely. Okay, so now we're going to go to the front of the brow. So what I'm going to do for the front of the brow is just light hair-like strokes in an upward position to mimic hair strokes so that the front of my brow looks a lot more full than it actually is. And then I'm going to spoolie out this part as well. And just go back in and fill in anything I think needs a little bit more love. Next, I'm going to be using the E.L.F. brow. I don't even know what this is technically called, but it's just a clear brow gel and a clear lash gel. So I'm just going to brush my brow hairs in the direction that I want them to stay all day long. And it just adds a little oomph to your brows. Like, it just makes your hairs look a little bit darker and a little bit more groomed. And it makes your hairs stand out a little bit more, as well as holding them in place all day. The next step I'm going to do is carve out my brows, and for that I'm going to be using a small concealer brush and my Tarte Shape Tape. I'm just going to take a tiny bit. I literally just pull up the wand like this and just kind of dip right here. And I'm just going to start tracing out my brows. Okay, and then I'm just going to blend out that line of concealer. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to dip just a tiny bit, and I'm going to carve out the top of my brow. So if you don't like a very carved out brow, then totally skip this part. So I kind of start up here at this little corner and just drag my brush down. And then I do the top of my brow. And voila, we have a brow. So brow, no brow, brow, no brow. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this one off camera really quickly. So I wasn't even recording that last part. I didn't even realize I wasn't recording. So I know this looks a little crazy. So what I did was I just took some setting powder and set my brows with a dry sponge. It really doesn't matter if it's dry or wet, but I usually do this step once I am setting my entire face. I don't usually do it this early, but it's no big deal. So for the purpose of the video, I just went ahead and set them. So just set them like you would set your entire face. I'm using the DERAMBLEND Loose Original Setting Powder. Doesn't matter what setting powder you want to use. And this really helps lock in the brow product. It also really helps lighten up your brow if you go a little bit too ham. So I'm going to wipe this away really quickly. I don't want them to like actually bake. So I am just going to go ahead and wipe this all away. So I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but it just kind of cooled down my brow a little bit, like it's not so harsh now. And then once I spray my face, the like kind of white cast that's on my brows, it'll go away. I'll show you guys really quickly. So that is the complete brow. I'm going to go ahead and finish up my makeup, and then I will come back and do the outro. So I am completely done with all of my makeup, and I really hope you guys enjoyed this brow routine. This is everything that I do to my brows every time I do my makeup, and yeah, it's also how I groom my brows and maintain them at home instead of going to a salon to get them done. But yeah guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I love you so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!